Morning, Phil from MOTO-MATE. Here we've got Paul's BMW R 1200 RS, and today we're going to be fitting a Global Eagle X6 camera. Let's pull it apart and see what we find.
It's been a really enjoyable morning watching him work while he's fitted this, and I'm really looking forward to trying this in action out on the road.
Well, often on the RS I'll come off this bolt here using the mounting bracket, so it then just sits there and it still gives a clear view, but obviously it can come off under the rack as well.
I would say that because I don't think there's any bolt that comes through the rack. So
no, we'd have to drill it, and we also have to drill it down here to bring the wire through as well.
So in that case, I'd stick,
and then the wire just tucks up through there.
Yeah. Because I thought that would be a good place, but that's actually sort of recessed in.
Yeah. So the default wiring loom, obviously Global Eagle will need to provide enough wire, whether it's a gold wing or if it's a sports bike, or cover all opportunities. So there's quite a lot here. Going to mount the DC converter just under the pillion seat here. Battery's just down here in the middle of the bike, so we don't need all this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to shorten it down so we haven't got to try and hide so much wire, and then just pick up the ignition trigger, which is the yellow wire back here, probably from the DIN connector. Right, let's get the cutters out. Yeah, that's the last terminal you're going to have space for on that battery.
Well, I think that's all the toys that I imagine putting on it.
The DIN socket is purely a 12-volt signal, so it doesn't power the camera through it, so you've got no issues with any load that you might put on there normally.
I don't think I used the DIN when I first got my heated kit, just as I was sort of trying it out.
Yeah.
But once I got a jacket and gloves and socks, then I needed the load. The only way I could run it was straight from the battery.
Yeah. Yeah, so you'd be pulling about 12 amps by that point.
Yeah.
There you go, 12 volts. Lovely job. Right, okay, just a quick overview of the lens mount. So that is the camera lens. Both front and rear lenses are the same, 1080p full HD. We've got a little snap ring which goes over and sits in that groove, and the body will then snap in one way or the other. There you go. clamping screw on there. So for the front lens, this is the configuration I'm going to use. So we can adjust the lens that way, and that way. So therefore we'll easily find a way to get it aligned. Also in the pack is an L bracket. And we're going to use one of these on the rear lens. So it will come pick up off, say, mounting point here. So no drilling of the bike. So I'll just bolt in on there, and then the lens bolts up on the back. So again, gives you total orientation. Right, so Paul's going to uses his bike for training as a ROSPA observer. I don't think we're allowed to say the word instructor, are we? Tutor. Yep, so he has fabricated this little lens mounting bracket up off the side of the nav mount. So we're going to utilise that. If I can get my fingers in there to turn the bolt. The idea being that with the lens higher up, we have a clearer field of view. I'm just going to pinch these up loosely now so we can make some adjustments when we've got it all powered. We can see. The LED indicator on the top of the lens is the vertical position. So that's a nice visual aid. Alright, so it's going to sit something like that. You could have put a couple of holes in here for cable ties. And what I'll do is when we've got the connections all up to the DVR into the back, I'll bring the cabling forward and I'll hide the slack up here under the tank. And I'll leave the connectors where you can get to it should you ever want to change position.
I have got some little sticky things that.
Yeah, I've got a couple as well. So once we've got it all up and set up,
that's fine. No, I'm just looking at that.
Yeah.
That goes in quite. Because what I was thinking,
I was going to put a couple of cable ties down there to be honest.
where the cable.
Yeah, we'll do that as well. Just tie it to the nav.
Actually, we could swap those. Yeah, just run it with the nav bit in there.
That is not a problem, sir. So what I'm doing now is I'm just dropping the pannier frames. So allow me then to run the wires up through. They even clean customers' bikes.
Put it on there. That's already made. Because then we're running all the cables together, aren't
Yeah.
we?
Well, I'd have run this across to the others anyway and run them all together, but yes. Yeah, we do that. Cool.
Do you carry 2 or 3 memory cards then, or do you?
If I'm doing a trip like on Friday, we're heading up to Yorkshire for 4 days, so I'll take a couple of cards.
And so you're typically using what?
128. That's the maximum the DVR will carry.
Oh, is it? Okay.
And that will give you a full day's riding.
Because I think that was when you were presenting. I remember I thought, oh gosh, that it sounded like one card would give you pretty much all that you would really need for a day. That's perfect, isn't it?
I mean, it depends what you want to use it for. If you want to record, like in August, I'm going across down to Austria, and going across the Dolomites and over the French Alps, and so I'll take a car for a day. And that way, I've then got to find the time to sit and sift through it all.
But it buffers when you turn your ignition off. That data anyway will go into the card, into the app.
And if the card gets full,
into the card.
Yeah, and if the card gets full, then it'll overwrite the Altis first.
Got you. We
globally, if I remember rightly, there isn't a a sort of a cloud service or anything like that. It's all
No,
to
just writes to the memory card.
because I think that was one of the things that really attracted me to this. I didn't want to have to start taking out flipping subscriptions for
No,
cloud storage and all the rest of it.
there's enough of that stuff going on already.
If there is firmware update, do you just need to drop that off the bike and plug it to your computer, or?
It depends. If it's a GPS firmware, then you need to plug the GPS into your computer. If it's a DVR firmware, you can just copy the files to the memory card, put it in, start it up, and it will write automatically.
Gotcha.
But like any recording system, recommend sort of format the card once a month.
Oh, okay.
Because otherwise you'll get minuscule fractions of a second gaps between the files, and as it keeps overwriting, then those gaps will appear in different places, and then it can lead to corrupt recordings.
So that's sort of once a month. You just hold the.
Just hold the button for 10 seconds. So just to make sure everything's up and running, we're just connecting everything up, power the system up, get it set up on the customer's phone, and then we'll tidy everything up. Because the rear lens and the GPS antenna are quite close to the DVR unit, I'm not using the extension cables, so that just means we've got less wiring to try and hide and make for a neater job. So ultimately that's going to sit down on there. The camera's up and running. Right, so what you need, so it's a Wi-Fi connection to your phone. It's there already. When it boots the system up, the last thing it starts is the Wi-Fi generator. So if you go straight to it, you think, where is it? Where is it? It's broken. Just be patient.
I've got you.
Yeah. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And you may see a message comes up says no internet connection. It's not connecting to the internet, so just ignore it. That's not relevant.
Okay.
Page over. Yep. So if you go back to where it says search driving recorder,
Yep.
allow while using app, yeah. Search driving recorder. And the first time you set up your phone, obviously it takes a little bit, it's a bit clunky until it gets going. So that allows you to device album the files that are on the memory card, and live video is the front and rear view through the lens that time. Before I do anything with that, I'm going to format the memory card, because it won't actually physically function until it's got a formatted card. So just hit that.
And that you're saying each month, typically you'd do that.
Just do it off the button.
Just off the
Yeah.
button. Yeah.
It's just the fact that we've got the phone connected, it's easier to do it. So that was done. Let's go back. And back again, live video. Right.
Look at that. It's witchcraft.
Right, so looking at the pillars on the garage, I'd say that's fairly straight as it is.
It is. Yep.
Just right, if you look at the back one.
Yeah, we knew.
Yeah, we knew we were gonna. Right, if you. Oh, sorry, did you want that? So we can see we've got a slight orientation and we've got a part of the bike in the view. So we're now just going to adjust the lens to get rid of that. So if you can hold your phone.
Okay.
And scream if you want to go faster. No. Now we've got the number plate hanger.
Yep.
You know, we can then run the wire across and down through there.
Yep.
Can we
Yeah, and that goes into that track quite
Yeah.
nicely with the.
Right, I'll do it on the other side.
Okay.
But yeah, so as long as we're not crushing the wire, getting it in, there should be enough room in there on that little cut out in there to bring the wire through.
Yep.
Right, let's give that a go.
Rack my brains why I would have taken that off, because the fact that there's a little bit of waterproof grease under there means that I was in there for some reason or other.
Who knows? Free end pad on the bottom,
Yep.
and you bond it to the bike. Which then, when you want to try and get the memory card out, it's stuck to the bike, and it's never in a good position. So this is on a mounting plate. So literally, it just slides off, and then you can bend it and get into the plate. Then it just goes back on. That's right. Yeah, you have to be careful.
Always.
Yeah, so you bring it right forward.
Yeah, got you. Yeah. And then that pushes back to
Yeah.
come off.
Yep, so literally just slides that way and lifts away.
Cool.
Right, let's tidy some wiring up. And I'll put a cable tie around there so it stays clear of the two seat prongs.
Yep. Okay. Do you want to run that?
I'll run
I was going
that
to say,
behind there.
run that one underneath.
Yeah.
Actually, that's a good point, isn't it?
Yeah, your phone logs the tracks your GPS.
Yeah. Good point. That's nice. That's nice. Nice. That's exactly part of the reason I left that sort of space flat there, so that yeah, we can pull that in. It's good.
Right, let's bolt it back together.
That's really nice.
Okay, a couple and a bit hours later, we're all done and sorted and back together. So Paul's got the front lens mounted up on a bespoke bracket up here. There's plenty of cable there if we want to move it to a different location to do that. So that's got a nice clear forward view. Then we've mounted the multifunction switch down here just below the instruments, so you can pause recording should you want to, take still images, and also format the memory card. DVR is mounted under the seat. It's the beauty of an RS, there's lots of room for that. So that's in. It's also on its mounting plate, so you can just lift it off easily to get to the memory card should you want to, and just latch it back on. GPS antenna is there, and then the rear lens we've mounted under the rack. We were originally going to mount it off this point here, but we couldn't get a completely unobstructed view, so we just moved it up onto the rack, and that's a nice clear view now. And there you go, pop the seats back on and job done. That jobbed. Apparently I need to tell you that if you want to follow the channel, link to any of the products, the descriptions will be up there, down there somewhere, but tick the box, subscribe, see you soon.
Phil's just completed my RS, the install of camera system, or the Global Eagle camera system. We saw this when Phil presented to Derbyshire ROSPA and gave a really good presentation of MOTO-MATE's products and their capability. It's been a really enjoyable morning watching him work while he's fitted this, and I'm really looking forward to trying this in action out on the road. Thanks to MOTO-MATE.